G'day ladies and gents, Full Face coming at you live and direct from Bunbury, Western Australia. Look at this one, got a new review here for you today. This is a 2015 Yamaha R3. This one's actually a customer of ours. I know him very well actually, and I do have permission to ride his bike in case you're wondering. Mods this one completely stock, bar for this AKRAPOVIC exhaust. Really tiny. I remember telling a couple of people about these things. They're really small. They look funny when you look at them in person. There's not much to it. So this is it, obviously in blue. Bit of a walk around. A new rear tyre. I'll show you something funny with this bike. Actually had a thing go through the wheel and dent the inside of the rim, which is pretty harsh. Doesn't generally happen. Can't even see where it is at the moment, so it's pretty well. It is there though, there's a big dent. So here we go. Oh, I like that dash. 3,738 kilometres. Not many at all. It's quiet, isn't it? Very responsive. Very skinny. Straight off the bat, first time I've ever sat on one. Extremely skinny. It's very smooth though. This guy's got some excellent driving on him. Righto! Obviously you got a little indicator light, high beam switch and a neutral light. Looks like you've got 2 trip meters there. A semi-analog dash, which is basically going to give you your analog tacho like normal. It's going to give you a shift light up the top here. You've got the time. Fuel up the top and temperature down the bottom is like sort of an analog bar, but digital if you will. Got a gear indicator, obviously a digital speedo readout and a digital odometer, so that's pretty cool. One thing that does feel very different straight off the bat, I'm on a Ninja 250 currently. This tank's very skinny, very skinny. Looks a bit odd. This is a 14.1 litre tank off the top of my head. And I did actually do the math, just from a quick ride that my mate sort of did, and he's told me how many sort of kilometres to the litre it gets, and you're looking at about 320 k's to a tank if you're baby in it, so not bad at all. Clutch is a very different point. Differences to the MT-03. The seating position feels very similar. Now I feel again that I'm hard up against the back passenger seat and I have no room at the front. So I don't know if it's just a personal thing. I'm 185 centimeters. I'm quite skinny, although I'm tall enough. Sounds pretty good. It's a very stiff gearbox though, noticed. MT didn't feel, I don't remember it being that notchy, but I could have gotten used to it after riding it for a little while. Yeah, these are obviously the same engine. You got a 321 parallel twin in this bad boy. There's more than enough power in this sort of thing to be overtaking. At the same token with the MT-03, it lugs very well, this engine. Doesn't seem to struggle. Even if you sort of, you might take off in second, you wouldn't have an issue. If you were to put it in fifth and just cruise around, you can sort of have decent acceleration, and it'd still be learner legal. So it's pretty good like that. It does feel very skinny though. There's a lot of play in that throttle. Screen is a lot better obviously than the MT, and not having a screen, it feels better than that, but I do seem to feel it just above my shoulders, whereas my Ninja screen, it feels a lot more incorporative. It throws that air over the side and over the roof a little better. Handles alright. Yeah, I don't mind it at all. It's a little bit stiffer than the MT, I can feel, and it does slightly feel like there's a little bit longer gearing. I don't know if that's true or if it's just what I'm feeling, but it just feels like it has slightly longer gearing. Let's give it a bit of herbs. And you're up to the speed limit instantly. So yeah, it's not bad at all. Mirrors are very good. Actually better than my bike, being up a little bit more than out. They go over my elbows and I can see around, which is good. Really don't know about that screen though. The screen isn't doing a lot for me, I'll tell you that much. You go into a tuck position, you're very cramped. Well, I am anyway. With my Ninja, I can actually slide back in the seat and get my arms a little bit more extended for the tuck. So with this one, as you can see my elbows are pretty bent here. If I go into a tuck, I actually have to drop them down past my knees. And my head's almost hitting that screen, so there's another point. It's an 80k zone, I can give it a bit of herbs and just see how it feels from 0, or from 1 first. Flat. Not slow at all. It's a fair bit quicker and more responsive than my bike, I tell you now. That's another thing I've actually noticed is my knees sit along this panel. The little panel, it feels like when you squeeze your legs together it does flex a fair bit. Not that that's like an annoyance or anything, it's just, it does feel a bit different. So I'm going to put it in 6th gear, and I'm going to go to 60 k's. Actually, I'll go to 50 and I'm going to wrap it on a little bit and just see if it lugs as good as that MT-03. Yeah, see that? Picks up speed, no issue whatsoever. It's actually very smooth. The one thing I will say that feels a little bit strange about it, and I've totally missed that little sensor thing there. I've gone too busy talking. I don't know if it's a dislike or if it's just a personal preference. This tank just seems really strange. Every time I sit on it, it just feels a bit odd. Might just be me. Does 60 in first, that's pretty good. Yeah, I don't know, it's a bit tall, it's a bit skinny, it's a little bit bulbous at the sides. It's just a weird shape to me. Not a gripe with the bike itself, just a personal thing. But you do sit in there very well. I think I do like that MT tank a little better. And then the brakes, let's try them. Not bad. Don't know why. Again, it's probably because these ones have been used a little bit. Those MT brakes felt a little bit better. I think it's just because it's fresh. So let's try it just here from 60. Yeah, not bad at all, not bad at all. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm actually on my lunch break right now. I'm going to drop in home, I'm going to get me some lunch, and I'm going to conclude this review on the way back to work. So, see you soon. Rightio, ladies and gents. You're going to go anyway, aren't you? So rightio, ladies and gents. We've talked about the performance, we've talked about the ergonomics, talked about the seating position, the dash. Now what I really want to talk about just quickly is this bike's position in the learner bike market. Now obviously, you know, your 250s and stuff like that are pretty much gone. Like obviously you can still get one if you really want to. Suzuki does an Inazuma, there's a few others. Ninja 250 is no longer made, it's replaced with the 300. But a 300 is basically going to be your entry-level bike. And the R3, I've got to admit, it's an excellent bike as an entry-level bike. You're going to run out of the door in Australia for one of these at about $7 grand right away. Now, if you're after a brand new bike, as a learner rider, or if it's your first bike, maybe you know how to ride. Great bike, it's got everything you need. Get you around town, it'll get you down the highway, no problems whatsoever. There probably will come a time, a couple of years down the track, where you'll want to move up to something with a bit more torque, a bit more bottom end or something like that, but this thing's just great for that. And at $7,000, if you're into the sports bike category, it's probably a great bike for you. Now granted, you can get the MT-03 at about $1,000 less, so $6,000. I think we're doing them at $5,800, $990 or something right away. It's pretty damn good. And I guess it would totally depend on what sort of riding you're going to do. If you're going to be up in the hills a bit more than, say, just around town and stuff like that, the R3 is probably going to be the bike to have. But between the two, really isn't much in it. Seating positions sort of very similar. The engine's exactly the same, the frame's the same, all the accessories are pretty much the same. Difference is, with this one you get a screen, a few more plastics to damage. You know, it's a toss-up. I'm definitely a full-fed guy. I've always had full-fed, or been into, sorry, full-fed bikes. It's a toss-up for me. I'd probably save the money and go with the MT. Don't know. I always preferred this one just from looking at the two, but I think I would probably go with the MT and save $1,000, get through your learner period and move it on. Guy behind me with a 500, CBR 500. So yeah, I mean that sums it up. In summary, great learner bike. Even for an experienced rider that just needs something to get around town, or something that doesn't really need to be as potent as a 600 or something like that, perfect little bike. Smooth as can be, it's got Yamaha reliability, can't go wrong. I would definitely recommend throwing the exhaust at it, an air filter. Change up your brake fluid to something like your Motul RBF 600 with some stainless lines, and is going to make the bike. So yeah, that's it guys. That's an R3 review. I'm going to go back to work now, fortunately. Come on mate, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And I'll just touch on really quickly, you're probably wondering why I'm riding a customer's bike and not my own, or one of the shops is what I actually meant. Now, at a smaller store like ours, we're in a small town like Bunbury, Western Australia, we are only allowed so many demo bikes. We can't have a demo in every single category of bike. We can't have an R3 demo, we can't have an MT-07 demo, and all of that sort of stuff. So we've got 2 demos for this shop. Unfortunately, I wasn't here when we demoed the R3, so that's why I've been full face, and that's me signing out. (2015) R3, full face out.